Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to my first vlog. In this vlog, I will just be discussing with you my experience as a lawyer back home in the Philippines and then basically my transition here in Canada. So, I've been a lawyer in the Philippines since 2008. I took the bar exams in the Philippines in 2007, September 2007, and then when the results were released in March of 2008, for the 2007 exam. I passed it, and then basically we went for the oath taking ceremony, and then signed the roll of attorneys, and off I went for my first real job as a lawyer. I worked for a law firm in Makati City, Philippines, for a few months as a young lawyer. That's my first real job as a lawyer. I was working in a small law firm, not medium-sized nor a big law firm or the very well-known big law firms in the Philippines. I chose to be in a small law firm just because they have more diverse practice in law as compared to medium-sized or big-scale law firms. Either they have their own departments that handle on a certain that handles that certain specific area of law, or that law firm itself practices or is an expert of or practices only one certain area of law. So basically, I was taught to go for litigation, contract drafting, different areas of law. I was actually appearing in quasi-judicial bodies outside of Metro Manila, and that was a good experience. And then off I went for another company until I landed a gig in a development company as a corporate lawyer. There, I was reporting to a senior lawyer, wherein he was teaching me how to go about the processes in different areas of law. Of course, we are two lawyers in that company, that very big company, and so basically they need legal help in almost all aspects of aspects of area of law. And so basically, I was experienced in, of course, corporate, of course, contracts, and then of course dealing with municipal governments, and of course labor, and then of course I think I dipped myself into a criminal as well, wherein construction workers were committing a criminal offense where the company instructed me to file criminal charges against them, and of course property such as the land titles. I was actually doing good in there until my good friend from law school, who works in a financing company as their lawyer, approached me and asked me if I'm okay to transition or to transfer from that company to another company. And so I tried, submitted my resume, and then lo and behold, they like me. They considering that they're looking for an experienced lawyer in real estate or in corporate or in that same field. So I applied, they took me in, and the rest is history during my practice in the Philippines. And they like me. They are actually, I work with a Japanese firm. I work with a couple. They're both Japanese. And then I worked in their company primarily in development firm or the construction or the the building or development company. And then, so basically, after that, they were actually establishing different businesses as well. And so they actually took me in and got my counsel for different companies. And then that's history for me. And then basically, I migrated here in Canada to be with my wife. And then basically, of course, when you come to Canada, I thought that I cannot be automatically a lawyer here in Canada. I have to go through a process of qualification, meeting their expectations, such as the exams, passing all of the exams, or enrolling in an accredited law school that has that specific program for us foreign educated lawyers. And so basically, I'm pretty sure I will not be qualified because I still have to take that exams, but I thought that I will be qualified to be a legal assistant. Considering my practice as a lawyer in the Philippines for almost 9 years, I thought that I'll be more than qualified to be a legal assistant. Lo and behold, I tried passing around my resume, but nothing happened. Um, and that's when I found out that actually, to become a legal assistant or to be qualified for that position, you need to take a diploma catering to that legal assistant program. So I don't have that experience. So they did not take me in. No one took me in. So I'm stuck actually working in odd jobs. I was working in different jobs as a general laborer, food counter attendant, as a baker, everything. Never imagined that I'd be in that position or in those positions because fresh out of law school in the Philippines, I became a lawyer. Never experienced any other jobs except becoming a lawyer. And so, but I had to do it. Of course, if you want to reach your goal, you have to make sure that you're committed to achieving that goal. Do whatever it takes to make sure that you achieve that goal. My goal was to become a lawyer. And so, in order for me to have that income to finance or fund my the exams, the books, in order for me to be a lawyer, provide for my family, I had to work different jobs. And so basically while working in different jobs, and of course being with my wife, I also had to simultaneously study. It was hard, okay? You have to have the time management because if you don't, oh, definitely, it will be harder for you. It will be more difficult for you to actually pass exam. Mind you, 5 subjects that I took are completely different from what I've learned or what I've been taught in the Philippines: constitutional law, administrative law, criminal law, foundation of Canadian law, and professional responsibility. Totally different. And so basically, I had to study from scratch. I had to buy books, read all of the textbooks, read all of the notes, make sure that I understand them. And so, yeah, long story short, I passed the 9 subjects in, I think 2018, if I'm not mistaken, 2019. And so I met a friend who actually was taking the NC exams. He's Canadian, but he studied in the US for law school. And so I met him, we clicked, we connected, and so basically he invited me over in the law firm that he's working with, became a legal researcher, and boom, that's my first real experience in a law firm. And then after that, when it's time for me to look for an articling, I applied for an articling position elsewhere. And then basically, I got a good offer, or I got a positive review in Sherwood Park, which is a city outside of Edmonton. And then, of course, I applied in Edmonton. Mind you, I handed out all of my resumes to all the law firms in Edmonton, St. Albert, Sherwood Park, Stony Plain, and Spruce Grove, Edmonton City, and around the cities around Edmonton. Only 2 law firms actually invited me over. One law firm in Sherwood Park, I'm really happy because he invited me over. That was October, okay? He invited me over for an interview, an informal interview, but I was fully dressed. And then basically he told me, given the skills that I have as a lawyer, client management, time management, I got all of the lawyer skills that he is looking for in a lawyer. Unfortunately, though, he follows a he follows a schedule. So basically, the schedule of articling students, they start interviewing articling students in April, and then basically that articling student chosen by them starts in June of that year. This is October or November of 2019 or 2019. I couldn't wait for April 2020 to start the articling, the interview, let alone I'm not even sure if I'm going to be accepted or chosen or not. and then start in June. I'll be wasting December, January, February, March, April, right? So that's 5 months. So yeah. So I needed to actually be done with it and become a lawyer as soon as possible. He was kind enough to actually let me know that, hey, Irwin, if you are actually wanting to start the articling position now, I can probably look for another lawyer who would be willing to take you in. And I was like, thank you, sir. I'd appreciate that. And then basically at the same time, considering that I've handed out my resumes to different, or CVs to different law firms in the city, I was actually going through another interview with another firm, the firm that I am with right now. And then basically he interviewed me. He actually, he's a 5-year call to the bar in Canada. And then basically he wanted me to submit a writing sample. So I submitted one of the writing sample. And then he told me basically I'm not his top choice. I'm not his top choice. I'm actually the third that among the candidates that he wanted. But basically, the reason why I only found out about this afterwards. The only reason why he chose me was because this principal of mine used to work with that person who interviewed me in Sherwood Park. And then basically they got a conversation, they had a chat, and then he said, oh, I know someone who's looking for an articling position right now. I am so much interested in him that I want to take him in. If I will hire him, why won't you? And that was the trigger. So basically he decided to take me in, and then I started January of 2020, hoping that I would be done with my articling position, hoping that my articling position would be shortened. Articling position here in Canada, particularly in Alberta, would take 10 to 1 year, 10 months to 1 year. But with the pandemic, it's now 8 months. Unfortunately, that was before the pandemic, right before the pandemic. And so basically we were hoping that, because in an articling position, simultaneously you have to go through articling position, and then of course there's like a educational simultaneously with that. The education, we were kind of hoping that I'll be enrolling or catching up, because they've already started the education, I think in September, and my principal was hoping if I could catch up. Unfortunately, so that I'll be done in April or May that year, or August, I think, or June. But nonetheless, it's not going to be 1 year. But unfortunately, I was way past the deadline, and then I told that to my principal. He said, "Oh, that sucks. Well, we cannot do anything about it." And so we tried, and basically, I had to wait for the next education to start that program. We call it as CPLED, Continuing Professional Legal Education, but now it's called PREP, Readiness Education Program. It's called PREP. Anyway, so I started January my articling because it had to be applied online with the Law Society of Alberta. And so basically, I had to, my commencement date is January of 2020, January 30, if I'm not mistaken, 2020. And then we'll end 2021, January 2021. I wasn't really keen on maximizing the 1 year, but I was told that it's actually good to have that articling experience, because you would be able to build your network, meet new lawyers, and then of course expand your horizons. And so I had to wait for June to start in order for me to start my prep, or the CPLED course. Unfortunately, that CPLED will finish May of next year, which is 2021. Problem was, so basically January 2020 until January 2021, I was exposed to different areas of law. Now, problem is, January 2021, I cannot be a lawyer because I have to pass the articling and the CPLED. Without those two requirements, I won't be able to be called to the bar. So basically, Um, what delayed me the most is the C plan. So basically, I had to, even though I'm done with articling, I still have to finish this. If I don't continue my articling position after January 2021, I cannot practice my profession, and then I'll be unemployed, right? So rather than be unemployed, I would just sacrifice and then just continue on as an articling student. So basically, I was an articling student until I was called to the bar. So I had to finish the CPLED. I had to wait for the results. And then after that, it's not as quick as, okay, right after the exams, I'm already a lawyer. I still have to be called to the bar. And we have to schedule that bar call. So my bar call was June 30th. So from January 2020 until June 30, 2021, I've been an articling student. And after that, that's what I've been doing. After in June 30th, 2021, I got my bar call, and after that, that's when I started becoming a lawyer. My practice areas would be my principal actually is a criminal defense lawyer. I chose him because criminal defense is one of my areas that I have not really practiced on. I do have a bit, but not really like full-fledged criminal defense lawyer, and that's where I'm interested in. Pero ang totoo, wala na akong choice. Kailangan ko na rin magtrabaho talaga. And so, basically, I was fortunate enough to be included in this firm because different lawyers have different practices. Not only in criminal defense, but they also have someone who's practicing family. They also have someone who's practicing immigration. They also have someone practicing civil and corporate law. Of course, we have real estate law. I was fortunate enough to actually have knowledge, not really extensive knowledge, but basic knowledge about those. So I am happy because I was able to be open-minded in those areas of law. At first, I was okay with family, criminal defense, immigration. But what really solidified my area of law or areas of law is when I focused with the Filipino community. There are only few lawyers here in Edmonton, particularly Filipino lawyers who are foreign educated. Okay, there are those Filipinos here who are already born and raised here and then studied in Canadian law school. As us Filipinos us Filipinos are not well versed in English. English is not our native language. And so basically, if they are needing a lawyer, they would be more comfortable dealing with a Filipino lawyer or any lawyer who speaks their own language. And so when I focused on that, it was actually a great idea because it's more of a sigh of relief for them, especially. And then, now I'm happy that I'm catering to the Filipino community, not just Filipino community, mind you, but if there are, and I think I'm the only criminal defense lawyer in Edmonton who is a Filipino. So I'm happy that I'm able to actually cater to that. And not just criminal defense, but also I can also cater to different areas of law. The Filipinos are not focused on criminal charges alone. I mean, there are Filipinos who are also into family, immigration, okay? Like for example, in immigration, how can they stay? How can they apply this? They want to apply for a visa or any immigration visa for that matter. And then family, of course, say for example, doing a will, divorce, or say for example, in immigration, they want to sponsor their spouses or their loved ones. How can they go about that? And then basically, there are also Filipinos who are into corporate, right? And that's where my expertise comes in because I'm into corporate law. Now, I'm not just limiting myself to the Filipino community, but I'm also expanding or catering to everyone else who would want to utilize my service. And so, guys, right now, I am focusing in criminal defense, immigration, family, of course, corporate. Now, I'm not practicing in any of the employment. I'm not practicing any of the personal injury. That's not my forte. Probably down the line, as I go through my practice more, I won't be as well versed as I am right now. I'm pretty sure I will be focusing on one area of law, as long as where I am needed. Okay, so for example, if I'm needed more on immigration and family, then that's the time that I'll be trying to clip or trim down other areas of law that are not useful for me. Because I tried um, uh, to be more of a well-versed lawyer, but in reality, I just cannot do that. I don't have the time, and I need to be an expert in something because it would be easier for me to do my job if I know what I'm doing. I don't want to be a lawyer for everyone when I don't know what I'm doing. So right now I am knowledgeable in criminal defense just because I've been trained in criminal defense. In immigration, I have an immigration lawyer who does that, and I myself is an immigrant here in Canada, and that's the reason why I am well versed in um, immigration. But at the same time, my future practice, where I will be working in a new firm, also practices family law. So if there's something that I will be doing, it would be immigration, um, family, and criminal defense, but mostly family and immigration. So if you have any questions, now that you know my story, if you have any questions in those areas of law, please feel free to contact me. My Facebook page has you can contact me there through WhatsApp as well, through the Facebook button link, and email me. And then I will be glad to actually respond to whatever queries that you have. Please, I do apologize if I'm not going to uh, email right away, as I have so many things to do, but rest assured that I will be responding to you as soon as possible. So guys, thank you for joining me in this initial vlog that I made. And for the next vlog, I have invited some friends to actually interview particularly. So watch out for that, okay? So again, guys, thank you for joining me today. Please don't forget to like this video, share this video to your friends, subscribe to my channel, and click on that notification bell down below so that you'll be updated in my future videos. Again, if you have any questions, if you have any topics that you want me to discuss, feel free to actually message me and I will accommodate you as best as I can. Till next time, you guys, see you. Bye.